She left without saying goodbye. Mini audiobook. The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the kind that feels peaceful or still. This was the kind of silence that wraps around your chest like a rope and pulls. The morning sun filtered through the half-open blinds in strips of dusty gold, but her side of the bed was cold. The sheets barely wrinkled. Her phone was gone, her toothbrush. The yellow sweater she always wore when she felt sad. She was gone. At first, I stood still, barefoot on the wooden floor, trying to tell myself this was just another early morning errand. Maybe she went for a walk, maybe she had an appointment she forgot to mention. But deep down, I already knew. There was something final about the way the air felt in the room, like she had taken something with her I couldn't name. I moved to the closet. Her clothes were still there, but the blue suitcase from the top shelf was missing. That was the one she'd brought the night she moved in. That said enough. The note would have been easier. A few lines of ink, even a lie. Anything but nothing. But she left me with just the silence and the slowly disappearing scent of her shampoo on the pillow. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the floor, waiting for something to shift, as if this were all just a weird dream with an ending I hadn't caught up to yet. I met Lily 2 years ago, by accident. A spilled drink, a laugh, a conversation that never really ended. She was lightning in a quiet world, messy, bright, impossible to hold. But that's what made her feel alive. I loved that about her. I thought I did anyway. But lately things had shifted. She got quiet more often, smiled less. She stared out of windows like they held answers she couldn't find here. I'd ask if something was wrong and she'd just shake her head, whisper, "I'm just tired." Like that explained everything. I wanted to believe her. I really did. By noon, I was checking her social media. Nothing. Her last message to me had been the night before. "Don't wait up, I might be late from work." That was it. No dots, no emojis, no hints. I messaged her again. Then called, then again. Nothing. Her sister didn't know where she was. Her co-workers thought she had taken the day off. No one had answers. Only more questions echoing the one pounding inside my own head. Why didn't she say goodbye? By sunset, I was standing in the kitchen, still in yesterday's clothes, staring at a half-drunk cup of coffee she had made. I lifted it, smelled the faint cinnamon she always added. Her mug. Her habit. Her absence. It all blended into this dull ache I couldn't shake. That's when I noticed something on the fridge. A photo tucked behind a magnet. It had been there all along, but I hadn't really looked at it. It was a picture of us at the lake, from last summer. We were laughing. Real, mouth open, eyes squinting kind of laughing. She had her arms around my shoulders, like she belonged there. And on the back, written in her handwriting, it said, "Don't forget this version of me." My chest tightened. That was her goodbye. But what version did she think I'd see now? The one who walked away? The one who left without a word? Or the one who smiled at the lake like she finally felt safe? I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there, staring at the empty side of the bed, trying to memorize the way it felt before it faded. Because I knew, if she didn't come back, this would become normal. The silence, the missing, the wondering. And I wasn't ready to let that happen. Not yet. Not without answers. Not without knowing why she left. Not without finding her. I woke up to the same silence, but it had changed. It wasn't heavy anymore, just hollow. The kind of quiet that settles in after the damage is done. I stayed in bed for a while, staring at the ceiling, letting the weight of her absence sink in. She hadn't come back. She had left, and there were no excuses left to reach for. But I still wasn't ready to let go. Not until I understood why. I began searching through the things she'd left behind. Drawers, shelves, her coat pockets. Not because I expected to find anything specific. I didn't even know what I was hoping for. A clue? A confession? Maybe just a piece of her that hadn't disappeared with her shadow. Then I found her old laptop. The password was the same as always, our first vacation date. Sunny, simple, nostalgic. The screen blinked to life without resistance. It felt like she wanted me to find something, like she'd left the door open just enough. Her inbox was almost empty. Just one thread remained, a conversation between her and someone named Jay. No last name, no photo, just the initial, like that was all it took. I hesitated. Then I clicked. Have you told him yet? Lily, no, not yet. You know you can't keep putting it off. Lily, I know, it's just, he still believes in us. I don't want to break that. Lily, I know that. You've known it for a while. Lily, I know. It went on like that, messages stretching back months. Somewhere between emotional support and something more, something deeper. My heart started pounding, not just because she had been talking to someone else, but because of how she spoke to him. She wrote to him like she used to write to me, back when our conversations were full of color and life, before everything turned gray. I scrolled down to the last message. Jay, you deserve a real beginning. No more pretending. Lily, I know. I'm leaving tomorrow. Jay, you're braver than you think. Lily, I hope he forgives me, but I have to choose myself now. She sent it the night before she disappeared. I didn't know what to feel first. Anger, sorrow, shame. It was like every emotion tried to take up space inside me all at once. I couldn't stop reading that last line. I have to choose myself now. That wasn't betrayal. That was surrender. Somewhere along the way, she'd gotten lost, and I hadn't even seen it. I'd been there every day, but I missed the direction she was drifting in. Maybe I thought love was enough, that showing up would be enough. But sometimes you can sit beside someone every night and still be a stranger to their heart. I closed the laptop. The room looked different now, like she had never truly been part of it, like we had both been playing house with a version of happiness that didn't quite fit anymore. And still, she was everywhere. In the coffee stains on the counter, in the scent that lingered on the pillow, in the way the air felt too still. I sank to the floor and let the weight of it hit me. Not rage, not betrayal, just pure loss. The kind you can't assign blame to. The kind you just learn to live with. But one thing still stuck with me. Jay. Who was he? And why did it feel like I still didn't know the full truth? 2 days had passed and still no message, no call, no sign of life. The apartment was starting to feel like a museum. Everything frozen in the last moment she existed here. Her jacket still hung by the door. A book she had been halfway through lay open on the couch, the spine bent like a snapshot in time. I hadn't moved anything. I couldn't. It felt like if I did, I'd erase what was left of her. But I couldn't sit in that stillness forever. I had questions I needed answered, and even if I didn't like what I might find, I had to know. So I did something I probably shouldn't have. I called her mother. She sounded surprised to hear from me, but not cold, just distant. Careful, like she was holding something back. I thought Lily would have told you, she said softly. Told me what? There was a long pause, the kind that makes your stomach sink. She's in Vermont. She came home. Home. That word hit like a wave. I didn't even know Vermont was home to her. She never spoke much about her family, only that things had been complicated. And yet, that's where she went when she left me. Back to the place she never let me into. Did she say why? I asked, voice raw. She said she needed space, said she had things to figure out, that she wasn't okay. That night I wrote her a message. Not angry, not demanding, just honest. I found your note, the one behind the photo. I know you're hurting. I just want to understand. If you don't want me in your life, I'll accept that, but please, tell me why you couldn't say goodbye." I didn't expect a reply. But the next morning it came. "Lily, I didn't say goodbye because I knew you'd try to stop me. And I wasn't strong enough to say no if you asked me to stay. You were always good to me, but I wasn't good to myself. I lost who I was trying to be, who I thought you needed. I smiled when I felt like screaming. I stayed when I needed to run. And you were never the villain. That's what makes this harder. You gave me everything, but I had nothing left to give. I left because I had to. Because if I stayed, I'd disappear completely. I'm sorry for the silence, but sometimes silence is the only goodbye that doesn't lie." I read her words again and again, and somewhere between the lines, I understood. She hadn't left to hurt me. She left to find herself, to breathe again, and maybe to learn how to speak her truth without drowning in it. I still missed her. I probably always would. But for the first time since she left, the ache felt less like confusion and more like closure. Weeks passed. The apartment changed. I moved some things, donated her books, reclaimed the bed as mine. But I kept the photo, the one from the lake, where she smiled like she belonged in that exact moment. And behind it, the words she'd left. "Don't forget this version of me." I didn't. I never will. Stories like this don't end, they echo. Subscribe for more moments that feel like memories. And thank you for listening.